Welcome to the Rubio Method. My name is Chris Rubio. This is episode 47. We've got Nick Monaghan with you. We've got a great guest named Ben Blue. I call him the Buzzard. Welcome to my show. This is a live show. We're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and of course, NGBN.TV. I wanted to say focus up to the tapped room, not to the tapped, excuse me. Tapped in Lewiston last night. They brought me poutine from Chevy and Nasty, the ride on NGBN.TV at 9:30 p.m. I did not order it, but they brought it to me live. It was much better than I thought, but the fact that they went out of their way to deliver it all the way up to me in here was fantastic. What's in store for today's show? Factors that worsen your mental health. That's obviously going to be a Monaghan thing. Is it better to love and lost or not love at all? Ooh, kind of a deep question. Our favorite Christmas movies. I've got a new one this year. Dinosaurs and Global Warming. You know that's going to be my favorite Irishman, the doc. Choosing a legend to hear. Top place to live. Are modern sports good to watch or not? Building the perfect athlete. Is the next generation of athletes going to be better or worse? All of that and much, much more on today's episode of the Rubio Method. Her name is Chastity. I'm out. Focus up. I'm talking to you, the Charter Oak Chargers. Yes, that's the high school that I went to. They started off very bad with football this year and ended up very, very good. They made it all the way to the championship. They came up a little bit short, but you guys, everyone is pulling for you, especially up here in Northern Idaho. Great job. And hey, my cousin is actually the head football coach, so shout out to Dom. What's going on, my man? Chastity, do we have Monaghan with us yet? Or no, probably not. I know he's saving lives out in Minneapolis. So I'm going to just go straight to the questions from the website and emails. Remember, you can always email Rubio@therubiomethod.com. That's Rubio@therubiomethod.com. And we're obviously on all social media, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. And of course, you can find us on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Google, and Amazon. First question is from Suzette in Scottsdale, Arizona. Scottsdale, Arizona is very, very hot. If you've never been there, I will tell you this. I was there in July one time running a college camp, and it's the only place I've ever been to that is so hot that you can't sweat. Now, let me explain this to you. You sweat, but then immediately becomes like salt crystals or something. I was walking outside running this camp, and it was, oh my God, hot. Like you just walked into, a flamethrower. And then I noticed, okay, I was sweating. Then I looked all over my arms and there was just white stuff and on my shirt, on my face. I go, what the hell's this? And one of the coaches said, that's your salt, dude. And I go, you got to get out of here, man. All right. So the question is from Suzette, is it really better to have loved and lost than to not have loved, to never have loved before? Is it really better to have loved and lost than to never have loved before? I'm going to go with, yeah, definitely. Yeah. You want to make sure that you've had some emotions where you had a relationship with someone, whether it be a significant other, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, or even family members. I was just talking to Charles Wallace Jr., who runs the Bear Essentials podcast on NGBN.TV. And his dad's going through some issues right now and pulling for him. Everyone's got thoughts and prayers and all the big hugs from Idaho for him. And I was like, you know what? You have all these awesome memories, and your dad's going to live a long, long time. You have all these awesome memories. Is that better than not having a dad at all? Because many of you know, I grew up with not a dad that was around. I don't know what he's doing right now. And so I think, yes, it's better to have loved and lost than to not have loved at all. That's my opinion. So that was a good question. I liked it. Next, from Tiffany in San Diego. After watching you last week with Guy, it made me think, if you could speak another language, what would it be? If I could speak another language, what would it be? Oh, I know Monaghan can do sign language. I think that would be kind of cool to be able to do sign language. Obviously, any international language I'm going to struggle with. You guys have seen how I do French, and I can't pronounce the things. I think Italian. I think Italian would be a sweet one. I think it's kind of romantic. I think it's one of the romantic languages. Is that a thing? Is that something I've heard of, or did I just make that up? So Italian would be pretty sweet. Dudes sound pretty cool talking like that. If Monaghan was here, I'd ask him, in sign language, can you whisper? Like, how do they do that? Not as aggressive with their hands or something? I don't know. All right, next one is, what are your favorite Christmas movies? Scott in Vancouver, Canada. Been there. I liked it. It was really clean. That's what I remember. It was very expensive. Favorite Christmas movies? Obviously, I like the classics. A Christmas Story. I watch that all the time. Elf is fantastic. It's so, so funny. Christmas Vacation is outstanding. But I would say I don't want to say my favorite, but right now my favorite is Four Christmases. I think that's what it's called. Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn. It is extremely funny. If you've never seen it, it's this couple that always lies about where they're going. They're going to do these humanitarian causes. So over Christmas, they don't have to see her mom, her stepdad, her stepmom, blah, 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 his mom, his stepdad. It's like a Modern Family type thing. And so instead of going to Four Christmases, they just go on vacation to Bali, to Thailand, wherever they're going, have a good time. But their flight gets canceled. And then they end up having to go to visit all four families. And it's just, let's say, a hellhole experience. And so if you've never seen it, there's a scene where where he has to go to church with his wife's mom, I think it is, and he ends up taking over the play, and it's extremely funny. He goes out, starts dancing. If you haven't seen that scene, go watch it. Just pull up Four Christmases, Vince Vaughn church scene, and my wife makes fun of me all the time because I roar in that. She goes, "You know that he's being an ass, and it looks just like you. That's something you would do." And I go, "Yeah, I guess." But anyway, it's fantastic. I've been noted by her name is Chastity that the great Monaghan is finally here after saving lives. Monaghan, are you here, my man?
I'm here.
There he is, live in studio. What's going on, Monaghan?
Oh my gosh, I didn't know we were live. Sorry. I just got kicked out of my last room.
No, it's no worries, man. Monaghan, I'm very excited to see you. Not because we're live, because in, let me say, 32 hours, I will be giving you a big hug in person.
The absolute best. Stoke levels are so high right now.
Yes,
I can't even put into words.
For those that don't remember, tomorrow I'm going to be traveling to Chicago for the Patrick Manley Award. That's the award for the top college long snapper in the country. It's basically the Heisman for long snappers. In my opinion, it's probably 15 to 20 levels higher than the Heisman Trophy, obviously. I'm one of the founders with Patrick Manley and Kevin Gold. They do a great job out there by Bernie's Bank in Lake Forest, Illinois, I believe it is. And Monaghan is the photographer that goes with us, and we all have great time. And it's just an amazing night. It's also the 1 year anniversary of Monaghan leaving me in a hotel room to go to the Harley Davidson factory in Milwaukee. So yeah, hashtag never forget, Monaghan. Never forget. Monaghan. I'm gonna remember that, man. What's your minute with Monaghan now that you're here and you're set up?
Man, first off, Rubio, thank you for the grace there. I was literally sitting in the room, and next thing you know, like 10 people walked in, and I was like, "Oh my god, what the heck?" So I spit it out. But today we're talking about things that worsen your mental health. We talk a lot about things that help our mental health, but we also got to be cognizant of things that can hurt it, right? So number one, social isolation. Man, don't just throw yourself in a room, and don't get out and see people. Make sure you're going out to see people, even when it's hard to. Go ahead and do it. It'll help. Lack of physical activity. Go out, get exercise. If you're sitting alone by yourself, just sitting there, that's really tough on your mentals. Eating junk food, right? I love junk food. I'm a high calorie human. But if you're constantly eating junk food and not eating healthy food, that's really tough on your mental health. And last but not least is obviously we have life stressors. Those are things we can't control, such as job loss, divorce, financial issues. Certainly those things are worse than your mental health. But the reason why I bring it up is because we can be cognizant of when that does happen, that we don't allow those things to completely destroy our mental health.
Okay, so let me review, Monty, and I was writing them down. Number one, social isolation. You don't want to be alone. Okay, you could join a group, go out with friends, play a pickleball club, do what you got to do. Number two, lack of physical activity. Go to the gym, work on your body, get on the treadmill, walk around the town, especially if the weather's nice. Number three, avoid junk food because that's going to give you a sugar high, then a sugar low. Okay, and then four, keep an eye on, life stress is the one that everyone's going to have, but you just got to know they're coming. Like, hey, maybe like we were talking about the movie Four Christmases, you're traveling around visiting, give yourself some extra time at the airport. I know I will, because I want to see Monaghan tomorrow. So Monaghan, those are fantastic. It's great to see your face. Monaghan, real quick, let me go back to what is your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, my favorite Christmas movie of all time. It sounds hokey, but Polar Express. That I love it. It's just like so peaceful, so nice. Love the Polar Express.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's a jam. It's really good. I really love it. And Tom Hanks, I think, made it.
Okay. But did you get to watch Four Christmases like I asked?
I had no access to it, so I just watched the YouTube. I know, and I didn't know how to break it to you, but I thought it'd be funnier if I did it live on the show. I had no access to it, so I just watched YouTube trailers and clips that I could find.
Okay, I'll let it slide, Monahan. I'll let it slide. It's fine. You had no access to watching it. If only you had a device in your hand or that you're looking at that could literally access anything on the planet.
Anything. I need Steve Jobs to make it. What is it?
Yeah, I don't know. We could call it something. I don't know, maybe phone or something. We could figure this out. All right, we've got segment 3 coming up. We're going to start with the interview. Then before that, though, we're going to meet with my favorite Irishman, the Doc, right after this commercial. Her name is Chastity. We're out.
This is NGBN TV, a network for men and home to top experts, speakers, authors, and more. Streaming TV for men, created by men.
But why?
Why are we a network that inspires,
Educates, entertains, celebrates, and supports
men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, simply to save men's lives.
There is an epidemic in our community,
and it's taking men from us?
I'm talking about mental health and suicide.
But we have an answer, and it's streaming, live shows, sports, concerts, and more.
in a real way for men to lock shields.
We can't wait to launch this TV network for you and with you.
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 Join our movement at ngbn.tv, coming January 2024.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, Chalice Jr. and Jimmy Mack. As you guys know, I host another show on the NGBN.TV network called Decades, where we have men in their 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, and 20s. And we basically get on there and kind of argue and learn how to debate and maybe agree to disagree on certain things. Well, we have a text thread, and those two went for 24 hours arguing football teams, and because Jimmy Mack loves the Eagles and Chalice Jr. doesn't care. He just wants to bet on things. And it was absolutely phenomenal. But at the end, they agreed to disagree. And that's what we're talking about here, especially on the NGBN.TV network. All right. Chastity, I need to see the video for my favorite Irishman. Let it rain.
Rubio, this is fantastic off the press, new science, last couple of days. 65 million years ago, what were you doing? Well, you can't remember. You weren't born. But we have known from previous science that dinosaurs were there around then on our planet, and they were killed, wiped out, in fact, by a plummeting meteorite. However, hot off the press, now science from McGill University is saying they've done huge tests, and although that's true, that meteorite did happen and it made the end of dinosaurs as we know it. It's not the only story, not the only reason that happened. In fact, they reckon that global warming back then was a huge part for the extinction of dinosaurs. So here we are in a time of global warming again. What's going to happen? Believe it or not?
Monaghan, what do you think about that? Because I have my opinion. I want to hear your nicer opinion first.
That was, yeah. I honestly, I feel like I never know what the doc's gonna come up with.
Do you believe in that?
I don't know. I'm not sure. All I know is it's been a lot warmer this winter than previous winters. But listen, Rubio, I have a small brain. I mean, it's pretty small. So I think a lot of that stuff's just way over my head. I don't know. What about you, Rubio?
I don't know if I mean, the doc is so smart that I want to talk to him more, but then I think like if I talk to him more, he's going to hurt my head because he is so smart. And I don't buy it. I mean, how are they measuring temperatures 65 million years ago? There's not like a little thermometer that you get at Radio Shack. I just dated myself by saying Radio Shack.
Yeah,
there's
Home
Depot or Ace, whatever hardware. But how are they measuring, temperature back then, 65 million years ago, number one? And how you just go 2,000 years ago, I think that everything's just kind of like this. And for me, the whole climate change thing is they always predict something and then it doesn't happen. I mean, what did Al Gore say the world was going to end by 2010 or something? Last time I checked, we're 2023. So I don't know. I got to talk to the doc on that one. I'm not sure if I go along with that. All right, Monaghan, you ready for the interview process?
Hey, you know I'm always ready. I'm excited.
All right, Chastity, bring out the man. I want to welcome Ben Blue. Here's a little bit things on Ben Blue. Number one, his nickname is the Buzzard, or I just call him Dude. And I'm not exactly sure why we ever started that. He's originally from Orange County, California, now lives in Seattle, Washington. He went, I'm doing air quotes for everyone listening on Spotify and Apple and Google and Amazon, to UCLA with me. And he's basically a basketball coach that travels the country with several AAU teams and brings championships like they're going out of style. Buzzard, what's going on, dude?
What's up, my man?
Fantastic. Monaghan, welcome to see Buzzard. Buzzard, I've got 3 quick questions for you. Number one, in their prime, who would you want to see the most? Billy Joel. This is in their prime and money's no object. Billy Joel, Pearl Jam, Tom Petty, or the Eagles?
Oh, sorry. I got it.
Billy Joel.
In their prime.
Billy Joel.
Really?
I'm going to the 100th show of the residency in March in New York.
Okay. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Monaghan, same question.
Man, I'm a diehard Eagles fan.
Go ahead, Monaghan.
Oh, I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I love the Eagles. I know almost every song. I love the Eagles. I would go to the Eagles.
Okay.
I saw the
I'd
Eagles
go.
in '94 at the Rose Bowl.
Was it incredible?
How many people were there?
Oh, it was 100,000.
Oh God. Okay, I would go Pearl Jam. Buzzard, you've traveled around a lot.
Yep.
What's the favorite food you've had in America, and where?
Oh, Rubio, you know the answer to this.
Give
Oven
it to
style burrito, Casa Vega.
Casa Vega.
End of discussion.
Casa Vega and burrito, very tasty. Very tasty. That's a good one, Buzzard. I like that. Number 3, you've also traveled around a lot. Like I said, if you could live anywhere and money is no object, Buzzard, where are you living?
New York City.
Really?
Love it.
That surprises me.
Love it. I just love the way the city moves, and I love walking everywhere, seeing different stuff every day, and I really enjoy it there.
Yeah, I've always said New York would be a great place to live if you were young, single, and rich.
I think it might be fun if you're old too, because you don't got to drive anywhere, take
Yeah.
the subway wherever. The only thing that would worry me older is I don't know where you get your groceries at.
Well, I'm assuming we've got some viewers in New York. If someone can comment, they got to have like delivery, right? They have to. For groceries?
I've never done grocery delivery, Rubio. I always like going to the store. So that would be
I get it. If anyone knows the answer from New York, you can go ahead and email Rubio at therubiomethod.com. Buzzard, let's start with the email questions. What's happened to common sense in the world?
That's a good question.
I know it is, Buzzard.
I think we just kind of get caught in our own bubble, and we don't really travel outside of our own bubble. And if we were to travel outside of our own bubble a little bit more, we'd see a lot more perspectives than just the ones that we're in. And if we did that, I think it would be better. Like we would understand more where people that are different from us are coming from.
Yeah, I definitely think traveling around, like Monaghan was talking about before, one of his health factors, staying isolated, I mean, not only hurts your mentals, as Monaghan always says, but it doesn't make you a social being, obviously, but then you can't even learn that, like certain things like common sense, like, okay, you can't do a FaceTime call in public, or, you can't just stand right in front of someone as they're watching a basketball game, things like that. These are just things that I've seen in the last 24 hours. And it's one of those where, like, dude, how did you not think about this? And I think over the last 3 years, especially during the Rona, where everyone had to be isolated a lot, unless you lived in Idaho, where it really hurt people and the common sense really went down the tube. Monaghan, do you think I'm wrong on that or right?
Buzzer, I love the way you put that. I think, the fact that we need to hear other people out. I think the big thing is common sense, but also the idea of slowing down. Like, slow down, Buzz, you kind of talking about it, is taking other perspectives and slowing down to understand. where I feel like nowadays everyone's just very quick in our microwave. I call it a microwave society because everything's 30 seconds or less. I want that gratification. Where instead it's, like if we would just slow down and think things through, I feel like we'd have a lot more success.
I agree with that. Buzzard, one of the things that I respect about you, not only that you just helped me out at UCLA, assisted me a little bit, was that you're a stay-at-home dad. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do. How hard was it when your kids were younger? Because now the kids are out. You've got, I think, your daughter's almost driving by now, and the Luke's all over the damn place. But they're not peeing themselves, crapping themselves. I hope they're not. They can feed themselves. They know what they're doing. How hard was it when they were younger?
I mean, obviously, there's no rule book, there's no guidebook for that, and you just kind of trial by error. One of the things that I found really helpful, and you'll be probably surprised at this, was we probably went to the zoo like 3 times a week, 4 times a week, just so I could get out and the kids could see different things. And like I would drive to one zoo all the way down in Tacoma. Then the next day I would drive to one in Issaquah. And then the next day I would go to the one Seattle a mile down the street. But it was just visual stimulation, something to get me walking. Mm-hmm. And the kids seemed to like it. Another thing that I found at 18 months in Seattle, I don't know where it is the rest of the country, you can sign your kid up for gymnastics classes. And
the hell are they doing at 18 months?
Yeah, and they had them like tumbling and jumping on all this stuff, and then they would have like the free play hour. Like we were doing stuff like that every day. Just, it was good for them, but it was also for my sanity. Like I couldn't sit around the house. Like one of the best stories is I was on the computer, and this is back in the iTouch days. So this is, I don't know, you, Monaghan, you probably don't know what that even is.
I don't even know.
I walked out, and it was sitting on the computer desk, and I had a glass of water there, and Julia runs in, grabs the iTouch, and throws it in the glass of water. And she comes out and grabs me and takes me back into the room and is laughing. And, just stuff like that. Like those are things that you remember, and they weren't funny then, but they're really funny now. Just little things like that. Just keep your kids stimulated, I guess, is the best way. Don't keep them shut in. And I know it's not always possible, but having a parent home is a big advantage. So
Monaghan, it's almost like he went through your 4 things, because it's isolated, and now the second one was I got to get out and got to get some exercise. I got to walk around. What the hell? Did you guys talk beforehand?
I know. I was getting so fired up in my head. I was like, no isolation, stimulation. Let's go.
Yeah. Well,
Buzzard, what the hell is an iTouch? I don't even know what that is.
iTouch, iPod. I don't remember.
Oh, iPod. Jesus.
Oh, iPod. Yeah, I remember iPod.
Yeah. Is it iPod? iPod. Sorry.
Yeah, what the hell? I'm like,
yeah,
I don't even know what that is, and I'm an Apple guy.
You would use to, yeah.
Yeah, it's
she thought I was the funniest thing, and I was not amused with her that day.
Yeah, kids. Buzzard, you coach. You and I are both coaches. You do basketball. I obviously do football and long snapping. You and I swap stories all the time. Are parents getting better or worse for you at the AAU level?
That's an interesting question, and
stop acting surprised that I'm asking great questions.
They're really hard in basketball when the kids really start out, and you go to watch some of these 3rd and 4th grade games, especially when they're intense, and especially if it's the parent's first kid.
Oh,
because they haven't figured out yet. You're going to see these same people in AAU all the way through 11th grade. You're going to see the same referees, the same coaches, the same kids. As it gets older, the parents get different. Like they're more rowdy in 3rd and 4th grade.
Okay.
They're more intense because everyone's kind of worried about rankings and
in 3rd grade.
No. once you get older. Although
Jesus.
it has trickled down to third grade. There's third grade rankings out on some of these websites. And look, I was guilty of it when I started the Seattle Stars. We were really highly ranked in those younger grades. And as I've gotten older and I hope more mature, it just doesn't matter. Like, very often the best third grader is not the best fifth grader. The best fifth grader is not the best seventh grader. The best seventh grader is not the best 10th grader, and the best 10th grader isn't the best college player. So it's more, I've learned it's more of a process. And if more parents would understand that concept, it would be better for the kids, because they wouldn't be pushing them to be so good so early, instead of just, let's just take the slow ride and let's see where it goes.
Okay, Buzzard, I see behind you, and Monaghan, you can cut me off anytime if you want. Behind you, you've got the UCLA legend, John Wooden.
Yes.
Two-part question.
Yeah.
If you had 30 minutes with him, what would you ask him? And number two, could he coach today in college the world?
Wow, I would
go ahead and say great question, because it is a great question.
Coach Wooden,
yeah,
would be wow. I think I would just want to talk to him about philosophy. I wouldn't want to talk X's and O's. I wouldn't want to talk. I just want to, he signed that picture for me, and it says to Ben, "Be quick, don't hurry." John Wooden, UCLA. And some of his maxims, like, I love "be quick, don't hurry." I just want to get into that with him. And like, I wouldn't even want to talk about basketball with him, to be honest with you. You can watch the basketball games, but I would just want to get inside his mind. And like, how did you deal with Bill Walton? Like, that would be an amazing conversation.
Okay, now second part of the question: do you think he could coach in today's modern day basketball? I say no.
I don't think he could coach the same way, but I think he's just the best ever to do it, and I think he would find a way to be successful. Now, are we talking college, high school? What are we talking?
Let's talk. Well, yeah, we can talk college, because I was listening to AC Sports Live last night on the NGBN.TV network. He's on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Pacific time goes live. They were saying how a kid from Louisville told the coach that he wasn't able to play because they didn't bring his one legging, and like, he was protesting, and then they finally found his legging or something, and then he was allowed to play. I don't see John Wooden putting up with that.
No, John Wooden told Bill Walton to go get a haircut or you're off the team.
I love it.
I don't know that goes today. The top athletes in high school and AAU, they're flown all over the country. In very rare instances do they pay for it. They get free shoes, they get free gear. Now with NIL, they're getting paid at high school, some kids. I think the kids are learning that, especially in college with the one and done, like, I don't got to do what this guy says. I'm going to the NBA next year and I'm going to get paid, and I'm just going to do what I want.
Yeah.
And the coach is in a position of, how do I want to give up my salary and fight this kid and get the reputation of, I'm not a player's coach.
Yeah.
It's a hard,
it reminds me, because I was remembering the story of, you said Bill Walton.
Yeah.
Bill Walton at UCLA, he was like 3-time All-American or something like that. And he was coming back for his senior year. And those that don't know, he was obviously like a massive hippie. He was doing whatever he did, big red beard, all that stuff. And John Wooden had a policy that you had to be clean shaven. And this was, like, probably must have been late 70s, early 70s, maybe 60s.
1974.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of right before we were born. And off season, Bill Walton grows his beard out, comes to the first practice of the new season, in which Bill, I heard also that John Wooden first practice, he made them all put on their socks and shoes. Like he had to show them how to put on their socks and shoes so they would avoid blisters. Like they spent half an hour doing that, which is crazy. But then Bill Walton comes in, 2-time All-American, Player of the Year, blah, blah, blah. They just won, their 700th national championship, and he has a full beard. And John Wooden goes, "Hey, Bill, I noticed you have a full beard. You know my policy." And Bill Walton says, "Coach, I understand your policy and I respect it, but I'm a 22-year-old man. I'm the preseason All-American. I was an All-American last year, and I was the Player of the Year. As an adult, I feel like I should be able to do what I want, and I'm going to keep my beard." And John Wooden says to Bill, "You are 100% correct. You are all those things. You are an adult, and you do have that right to do that. But this is my team, so I have a right to kick you off. So if you'd like to continue with that beard, you're going to be kicked off my team." Now, the balls on that guy to do that, I can't see that conversation lasting 0.2 seconds or even happening in today's world.
Do you remember what Bill Walton did?
He shaved it.
He got on his bike and drove down to Westwood and got a haircut immediately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Buzzard, I want you to give me 3 to 5 traits that you would want in a basketball player. Don't give me the physical traits of height. I got that. You want a 7-footer, blah, blah, blah. 3 to 5 traits that you want in a basketball player or just any athlete.
Number 1, intelligence. And I mean basketball IQ, like knowing what's a good shot, knowing what's a bad shot.
Monaghan, I'm coming to you too, so be ready.
Number 2, toughness. Like, I love guys that take charges. On our team, we have a charge contest, and the winner at the end of the season gets $100 from me out of. So one of the kids has taken 17 and one of the kids has taken 13. So they're, that's over like 30 games or something, but they're out there kids are out there trying to take charges now. And I love that. And then another important trait is if you're a kid that wants 30 shots a game and you'd rather get 30 shots and lose than take 2 shots and win. I don't want you on my team. I'm not interested.
I like that. Buzzard, last question. If you could go back to talk to your 22. Oh, Monaghan, I wanted to ask you. Same thing. My bad. I got too fired up right now.
You're totally good.
Give me 3 characteristics of an athlete.
Athlete general resiliency, because like being an athlete is not easy, and you're gonna have bad, tough practices or games. You gotta have a short memory. I also like toughness because you gotta be tough to play this game. You just have to be. And then also a winner. I feel like you could have big tough guys, but if they're on loser teams and you just kind of have a loser mentality, you can play well, but as soon as things start not going well and you just start losing, you find ways to lose. So yeah, resilient, tough, and a winner. That I think you can win championships that way, and you can win championships just in life, being a good parent, being a good father, whatever, that way.
That's a great point. I think the only one I'd throw into all those 6 that you guys had was confidence. I love an athlete that has a lot of confidence, where it just exudes when it's so much confidence that it exudes to the other players and then team, and they kind of just feed off it. We had that a lot at UCLA when we were playing. Buzzard, if you could go back to talk to your 22-year-old self, give yourself some advice, what would it be?
Rubio, you're killing me here. That's a good question.
Buzzard, why so surprised?
I think the number 1 thing would be slow down. Appreciate what's going on around you. Appreciate everything you have. When we're 22, 21, and we were living up on the Coy house, I mean, that house was, I'll probably never live in a house like that again.
Yeah.
I mean, the top of Mulholland with the sprawling view of the valley and, the things that I just don't think that I appreciated everything that I had then. I had 2 good parents. I had a good group of friends, excluding the one that's interviewing me, of course.
Hey, I hear you.
And I just don't think that. I think that life was moving so fast back then that I didn't appreciate what I had and how much fun I was having. And I mean, I know you and I look back and we talk about the koi house, and those were some of the best times of my life.
Yeah.
You know, we had so much fun there, but I don't think that we just kind of stopped and, you know, that Ferris Bueller line, just stop and look around, and life moves pretty fast.
Buzzer, that's a perfect way to end the interview. I really appreciate your time. Monaghan, I'm going to take it out. We're going to come back with one final segment from the bottom line. That's all the stuff that you should have learned without even realizing you learned it. Ben, if anyone wants to get in contact with you, what's the best ways? Social media, email, what?
Social media is fine, but you can text me or call me, or email is bbevenflow2003 at Yahoo. Email's fine.
Fantastic. Evenflow.
You see, I'm a Pearl Jam guy.
Yes.
All right, we're going to come back right after this commercial with the bottom line. Her name is Chastity. I'm out.
Attention, gentlemen of distinction. Introducing NGBN.TV, the television network designed exclusively for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Your go-to destination for entertainment that speaks to you, inspires you, and celebrates the incredible journey of manhood. And here's the exciting news. NGBN.TV is coming to Roku, Apple TV, Amazon, and your favorite mobile devices. Whether you're a sports enthusiast, seeking self-improvement, or just looking for a good laugh, NGBN.TV has got you covered. Entertainment, inspiration, brotherhood. Coming soon to Roku, Apple TV, Amazon, and mobile devices. NGBN.TV, where men thrive.
Focus up. I'm talking to you, Sub 60 Ed. He's the producer, engineer, gaffer, light guy, boom guy, sound operator, cameraman, editor, director of the show Decades on NGBN.TV. He'll be on next Tuesday live at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. He just does a great job of handling all us wildcats. All right. Welcome back to the Rubio Method. This is episode 47. Just had a great interview with Monaghan and Ben Blue, the Buzzard. Great guy. He's got a lot of wisdom out there. I give him a lot of crap, but he gives me a lot of crap right back. That's a sign of a good friend. This is episode 47. Remember, you can email Rubio at therubiomethod.com, and you can always catch us on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and of course the NGBN.TV network. This is the bottom line. Like I said, this is all stuff that you should have learned without even realizing that you learned it. Number one, don't hit the floor, count to four. Don't hit the floor, count to four. The four things that Monaghan talked about. Social isolation, bad. Lack of physical activity, bad. Junk food, bad. Life stresses, they're going to be there, but they're bad as well. All right. Number two, smile because it happened. Buzzard had a great example where his daughter, Julia, threw his iTouch, we later figured out it was an iPod. I don't know what the hell Buzzard was talking about, into the water. At the moment, it was like, what are you doing? But after a while, he's, just calmed down, and now he can smile about it and joke about it. Smile because it happened. You're going to be thankful for these memories later. And third, children learn by watching. Children learn by watching. It's one of the things that I used to always teach when I was teaching history in sixth grade to my classes. Children learn by watching. So if you're a parent and you're acting like an animal while you watch your kid play basketball, guess what? He's going to turn into an animal. They learn by watching. Guys, hope you enjoy the show. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Remember, you can email me, Rubio at therubiomethod.com. I had a fun time. Her name is Chastity. I'm out.